Hello and welcome to video 100. I decided to bring back the old wallpaper, but other than that, it's been 100 days since my first one. And I just thought I would use this moment to reflect on how the last 100 days have gone, if I have figured out all my problems, and whether or not the mission, the thesis statement that I made in that first video has been resolved, whether it's progressing, and whether or not this is something that I continue wanting to do. So, what is it that this whole project was for? I actually just went back and I watched the first video that I made, which was make stuff even if it's bad. And the point of this video, the first one, was to explain exactly what it was that I was trying to solve, what problem that this exercise was going to try and solve. And ultimately, it was getting less rusty. It was to try to improve at the foundations of what I have to do on camera, something that I haven't done in a really long time. I mean, my last answer in progress video was in 2024, which is over a year ago now. So there is some disaster in terms of my skill atrophying that I was trying to fix. And one thing that I thought I could try to do is I could just try to get the reps in order to improve at the one piece of this skill. And that piece was talking to camera and talking articulately. So that part I can definitely say I have improved massively on, and I still think there is a little bit of cognitive effort that I need to use in order to continue to talk in long, uninterrupted strings of time. But it is way easier to do so, and I can do so without any notes. Before, when I started, I think the first video there was actually no notes, but after that, the first 20 to 40 videos, I would have a little post-it note that I would go off just to make sure that my thoughts were more clear and articulate. And then after that, I started to just run whatever I could and just talk without any notes whatsoever. And then there was a piece in there, maybe a string of 10 to 20 videos where I didn't even know what I was going to talk about until I hit record. And I would generally just talk about what I was doing that day or what I did that day. And then it would sometimes peter into other thoughts. In the last 20 videos, and this is more of a broad vibe rather than exactly the last 20, because I haven't actually sat and reviewed all 100 videos. In the last 20 videos, maybe a little more, I really feel like I've been phoning it in. And that's also been true at different periods of time when I'm sort of just trying to keep the streak alive and, waking up and getting out of bed and doing a video and then going back to sleep and that type of thing. But I think in the last 20 videos, I would say there is a distinct, from my perspective, a distinct lack of effort going into actually producing the video in a way that is pushing my skills. And that, I think, that specific thing is the actual thesis statement of this project. The whole point of this project is to improve at the ability to articulate. And part of that is just being lost. I think that in the last 20, some of the thing that I was trying to achieve was trying to pivot the thesis of this project to just overall improvement and documenting that process. If I think about keeping myself accountable to getting to my desk early, that was a version of this that was not necessarily the point of this project to start with. The point of this project to start with was just to focus on my articulation and my camera presence, and then sort of ladder up from that to improving my ability to shoot stuff. And at one point in the middle, I started shooting on my big camera, but the problem that I was having wasn't actually that the big camera was hard to shoot on. I actually got over that in the process of making these videos. But the real problem that I was having is that my days started to be really full with stuff that I needed to do. And then I just did not have the time to put in more effort than just turning on the webcam and talking. And so as a result, I think that the space was not created to continue to improve past focusing on just the articulation, which I could do by just turning on a camera and talking the way I am now. And you might be able to tell that today I'm actually trying to be more articulate. And that's something that I think I haven't been doing for the last 20 days. And I think that makes it a little less compelling and a little less interesting. I also feel like I had run out of things to say, which isn't necessarily true. But the thing that was actually happening was I didn't have the time to really catch my breath and think, what is it that I want to say today? And so because of that, I was just really rambling about nothing. And those videos, I think, really don't do this project. You know, it doesn't do it its service. It does it a disservice, in fact. So that's how I feel about how this project has gone more broadly. I think that there was an incredible amount of improvement that happened in the first half of this project, and then the middle was definitely a tweaking, and a lot of other problems were untangled. And then in the last 20, I think I was just trying to keep the streak alive, and I don't know if that is necessarily a great thing, because the point of this is not to get to 100 videos or to get to 90 videos or whatever. I think that at some point it did become that in the last 20. When I was at like 87 videos, I would say, I think it started being like, I should get to 100 videos and then decide whether or not I want to continue doing this. And I'm still not sure, because I definitely think I have achieved a lot when it comes to my improvement in terms of just talking to camera and stuff. But I don't think I have really solved the core problem that I'm trying to solve with the thesis of this video, which is I would like to make a lot more videos on answer in progress and make content that's definitely more designed to be consumed by a wider audience and actually publish in a way that is compelling. And this was supposed to be the training grounds, it's the dojo. So I wasn't actually trying to improve the compellingness of the content, just the one piece, which is the talking to camera part. And I think that bit I've totally done, which is ironic that I literally fumbled my words when I was saying that. But ultimately, I think I have really, really improved my ability to talk on camera and just talk coherently in general. And that's not only something that I have taken into just video making. I think I'm a lot more coherent just talking in a conversation, which I think has been incredible too. So, am I going to continue? I don't know. I don't know. And I will have to think about this a little bit more, because does it serve the mission? Does continuing to make daily videos serve the mission in the way that it needs to for the next period of this project? Or this project is my life in a way, because this period of just improving the stuff that I need to do in order to make really, really great videos. And so I've been thinking a lot about this. Does it serve the mission? While I was preparing for this video and thinking about it while I watched the first video, especially with the last 20 being something that I just phoned in. And ultimately, I think that if I'm going to just phone it in, I think it doesn't serve the mission. And when I just phone it in, I think that I am doing a disrespect to the mission of the first 100 or the first 80 days, let's say. The first period of time where I really put a concerted effort into improving the stuff I was trying to make on camera. And when I phone it in, I think that I disrespect the project as a whole, and I think it degrades my ability to respect the project and continue to give it the reverence that it needs in order to then treat it as something that I need to put effort into improving. Actually spending a little bit more time to be like, right, I am actually trying to improve in an area, and this is a place that I can improve in public, is the thing that I need to prioritize. And so one thing that I have noticed, because I sort of strayed a little bit from the core thesis of the project, which is improving my articulation and then improving my ability to shoot on camera, is that I no longer have a really clear goal as to what I'm trying to do with these videos. It became a little more hazy. And so I think what I need to do is I need to revisit my values, my ideas for not only this channel, but also my operating principles when it comes to work and potentially life. And maybe that is the next piece of this project, or maybe that's just a piece that I need to work on myself. But I think that once I get clear on these values that are operating principles, I think I will be able to articulate and come up with what the next piece of this project is. When I think about this channel, it's gone through a lot of iterations, and it was the birthplace for my career in a lot of ways. And so I feel a lot of reverence for just this channel and a lot of love for what this channel has has gifted me. And because of that, I really don't want this channel to just become a dumping ground for my videos that I phone in. I just think that that would be a really, really sad state of affairs. So I really, really want to get clear on what it is that I'm trying to do here and reflect on that particularly, and really focus on trying to bring a new energy to this channel and potentially to the next phase of this project. Whether that looks like continual daily videos, I really don't know. I'm at the end of my workday, and the workday was a little inconsistent for me, again, with the illness and my sleep schedule and all that other stuff. But ultimately, I'm trying to pursue some set of values that I have in a really hazy way in my mind. And I think there might be something that I can do with this channel that helps me refine my values. And those values are going to be clarifying in my ability to just try to actually pursue them. I think some of the older videos, I look back and think, no, some of these really do state some ideas and values that I have and I really hold dear to me. And those are the videos that I like the most. Those are videos that I can go back on and really sort of agree with myself about. And maybe that's something that I need to go back to and really think about what it looks like to do that. I've been watching today and yesterday. I've been watching some random clips and speeches from Steve Jobs, actually. And despite all of his flaws, and there were many, one thing that I think is quite admirable about the way that he operated was that he had a really, really fundamental belief in the values that had shaped his life and then ultimately shaped Apple into the company that it was and is. And that's something that I feel like I need to be a lot more clear on with myself. What is it that I believe in, and what is it that I am trying to pursue with this project, and then also with the project of my life? And that's not really going to be answered in this one video, but that is something that I'm really, really thinking about. Because ultimately, when I think about the thesis of this video or this project and the first video I made, I think I have achieved the goals that is set out in that video in the micro. I'm definitely much better at talking to camera, and that was the first thing that I was trying to face. And I definitely am also better at shooting, because I have done some work outside of this project to make sure I am better at shooting. But the broader thing, which is trying to meet my skill with my taste, I don't know if I can do that in a daily format, because the daily format inherently allows me a very short amount of time in order to publish something. And there are certain things that I want to do that are going to take a week or a month. And those are the types of things that I don't think I'm getting any more improvement on by doing the daily videos. Because certain things that will take a couple of days, let's just take something like stop motion. Because it's going to take me more than one day to do stop motion, I can't show up every day and have something that I can iterate on and improve on. And because of that, there are certain aspects of the video making process that have gotten a lot better because I can show up here and I can practice that every day. But then there are other aspects that I think are completely stagnated in the same way. And the reason for that is I can't pursue that element every day because I just don't have the time. So part of that might be making time so that I can do this every day, because if it is part of the project of my life or the project of my work, I should just make the time, and I should really be serious about improving. So that's one element. The other element that I feel really strongly at is I really, really have enjoyed this pursuit of I do this every day non-negotiable. And the I do this every day non-negotiable is something that I think that the publicness has really pushed me to force me to do this, the publicness of having this project. But I also feel like I have internalized the lesson of I do this every day and it's non-negotiable. And there is a ideological commitment to consistency that I think I have really internalized and gained. And this is something that I've spoken about in the past in a couple of different areas. But in the past, I've always been someone who has been an extremely inconsistent person in terms of working at incredible rates of effort for certain periods of time, like whether it's a week or 2 weeks, and then really going up and down in terms of how much work I do. And the consistency part is not something that I'm necessarily that good at. And so this has been a practice in consistency in a way that I think has been incredibly instructive. But there is a fear that I have that the only reason that I have been able to be consistent is because I have done this in public. And if I had committed to myself to do this in private, then would I have got to 100 days? And I don't know. And the fear that I have is that I can't show up for myself. I can't show up for myself and be honest to the work and commitments that I've made to myself. When there is no one else around, will I still show up? And that, I think, is the real question that I need to try and face. My year theme this year is turning pro. And to me, turning pro means that I show up to the commitments that I've made, not because of an external reason. You show up for the commitments that you've made because that is what a pro does. They show up and they show up for practice and they show up for game day and they commit to the process and they make clear-eyed decisions around what the sacrifices that they are willing to make in order to achieve a specific goal. And the fear that I have is, while this has proven that I can do things consistently, the fear that I have is that I can't do that if the only person to keep me accountable is myself. Even though there are very few people watching this video, there are still people watching this video. And in aggregate, even if you don't watch the video, you can see on the channel that I have committed to this every single day. And while that's impressive, is it as impressive if the only reason I did it was so that people can see that I did it? The thing that I fear about what I have learned in this 100 days is, have I really learned how to be consistent? Or have I learned how to show up when I have the stakes of embarrassment at play? So that is ultimately the question that I don't know if I can really answer within the format of this daily video series, but is kind of the question that I need to answer for my life, because one of the weakest parts of my own abilities is my ability to see things through when there is no one watching. How many projects do I have that only exist in my mind because there was no other person to keep me accountable? And ultimately, I am the only person who can keep me accountable in all other areas of my life. So this is a major problem that I'm trying to untangle. And I think this project, this show, let's call it, has been really instructive in a lot of ways. But there are some ways in which I really wonder whether or not it can help me. So will I continue this series? I don't know. I think I need to really understand what it is that this series is going to continue to do in order to serve me and improve my abilities, whatever that is. Because maybe this is somewhat of a delusion, but I do think that I have really meaningful things to contribute to the world. And I also think that I have been gifted with talents that I think I am not very good at pursuing or using. And all of that, I think, is a lack of discipline. And not in a way that's not in a hustle bro way, but in a way where I don't have the ability to show up and honor my commitments to myself. And in a lot of ways, that, I think, is the project of my life. If I can really resolve that, I think I will be able to really unlock a lot of things. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to continue to do this series, but the one thing I really feel like is next for me is that I need to really understand what it is to have what is the thesis of the next part of this project. I think I need to refocus and try to understand what my values are and what this project is doing to meet me to my values, meet my values, and how this project does that. So that ultimately is all my reflections around the 100 days of videos. I think there was a video recently that I made which talked about how your potential does not matter. And I think that that's something that I'm reminded of, because I think that the potential of something, it only matters as far as you can meet yourself in reality. How far can you meet this alleged potential in reality and make it happen? And I think that is the piece that I am struggling with when I say that I find it hard to honor my commitments to myself. So I think I need to formulate what that looks like and frame what that looks like in terms of this instrument that I have. What does it look like to try to resolve whatever values I'm trying to pursue, and then structure a challenge or format for myself that can be pursued through these videos? Because the 2-minute phone it in video, I don't think that's necessarily acceptable for the purpose of this show, of this project, because I didn't start this project to get to 100 videos. Now I know I can do it. Now I know I can make 100 videos in 100 days if I need to, but that's not really what I was trying to prove to myself. So that's my reflections. Those are my thoughts at video 100.